Here's Craig Porter Jr. Dave got Allen will still trying to find their consistency. Here's Mobley. Off to Mitchell. 3 straight games with at least 35 points against Philly for Mitchell, and Mobley finishing the lob.
Yeah, and again, it's right off the bat. Donovan Mitchell's in the paint, and it creates so many problems because you're trying to figure out as a last-line defender when to commit. And that time, Mobley, the easy recipient.
Mobley came out of the gates with aggression the other night as well. Ended up with a big game, 17 points, 13 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 blocks. Edgecombe buries the jumper. Nick Nurse thought VJ had maybe the worst. Here's Mobley. Maxey denying Mitchell. Mobley trying to do it himself. Looking to take Barlow. The hook is good from Evan Mobley.
Incredibly difficult shot right there. Barlow actually defended that pretty well. He took away the middle. Mobley goes back to that jump hook, but that was a deep jump hook outside the lane.
Here's George. Giving it up. Embiid. Been a little more comfortable driving it of late. Embiid splash on the jumper. 12 straight games with at least 20 points for Joel Embiid.
There is that touch we talk about all the time. For a guy that big, his power basically drove Jarrett Allen back under the rim. He still had a 15-foot jumper left.
Porter able to hit in the paint. Kenny Atkinson was funny talking about Craig Porter Jr. He said, I don't know, have you guys ever seen a 6'4" power forward?
It's a good way to describe him,
right?
There's no doubt. It's built like a truck, and he plays that way, and he called him a jack of all trades, and that's really his value to this team.
Here's Embiid, muscling down. Again, same thing, legs. Creating that separation with the physicality on Allen.
Yeah, that's a big shoulder. You know, to hit you in the sternum, Joel Embiid hits you with that, and you're already backpedaling. There's no way you can stay on balance to contest that.
Here's Mobley off the catch, back to Porter. Not really a threat from 3. Tyson will fire, can't hit. Porter, there's the 6'4" power forward. Kenny Atkinson loves his offensive rebounding as Tyson cashes in. Six points in the paint already for Cleveland. George on the rip move, foul on the floor called against Tyson. Got to for Maxey, George, and Embiid. Started out 0-4. They're 6-2 in their last 8. George can't hit the corner 3. Barlow deflects it, lands with Tyson. Tyson, who's carved out a nice role for Cleveland this season. Porter gets denied. Save back to Tyson. Maxey on the steal. Doesn't have the numbers. Waiting for help. George wide open. Connects on the 3.
Nice shot. Maxey with the great read defensively to play that passing lane, but then I liked his patience coming up the floor. He knew Paul George was running the right wing. He gave him plenty of time to get to the corner and get his feet set before he delivered the basketball.
Triple team comes. Porter has it deflected. George off the steal. Barlow the slam.
Nick Nurse has to be happy. They're definitely more in a state of readiness.
Cavs went on an 18-2 run a few minutes into the game and never looked back as Tyson parries the 3. Jalen Tyson getting his 23rd start of the season. It's the 20th pick of last year's draft. Averaging nearly 13 points per game. Very efficient shooting it as well. That one rims out. Allen able to fingertip the rebound. Mitchell looking to dance around George. Good hands there from Barlow. Just snared it away. Again, that activity you're talking about, legs. VJ, he hits. Timeout, Kenny Atkinson.
Floor really ingratiating himself to the young fella and allowing him to thrive here. They've been a great tandem thus far. The interesting thing I did speak to him about was, because Nick Nurse had told us he's a historian of the game and he's so young. So I asked him, hey man, you're from the Bahamas. Do you know the OG from the Bahamas in the NBA? And he looked at me all twisted. He was like, of course, it's Michael Thompson. I know who that is. And then I said, well, you know, who else was all the stuff that we saw live?
Now, look, I can digest watching Jordan's highlights on YouTube, but the fact he needed to go to YouTube,
Oh, yes.
I mean, I'm glad that you took the time.
I ran out of time. I couldn't get to it all.
Terrific stuff. You know, that connection with Maxey, too, and VJ Edgecombe developed in the offseason as well, Maxey had invited VJ and some of the other teammates of the Sixers to early workouts. But he came to the first one at 6 a.m. Maxey then called up his father afterwards and said, hey, we got a special one in VJ. And he could tell just from his heart the way he was so competitive in the shooting drills they were doing as Mitchell finally gets on the board, finally got some space.
And you saw Maxey on the other end with that floater. He's known for the one-legged jumpers in the lane, but you cannot leave Donovan Mitchell alone in transition. Sixers really poor balance that time getting back.
George buries the mid-range. Both teams shooting it unbelievably well out of the gates. Cleveland 6 of 8 and Philadelphia 8 of 10. Mobley trying to squeeze it in back door, and that's going to
tonight. But that's a couple of times now. He's done a really good job of squaring him up and forcing him to pick the ball up.
Here's Embiid, nice give and go. Maxey able to serve it in high off the window.
How can he make an absurdly difficult shot look that mundane? I can't even tell you the degree of difficulty in what Tyrese Maxey just did.
I mean, to do it all in one motion off the catch, unbelievable. Here's Tyson, catch, fire, and hit from 3.
Deadly. They've got so many guys that can hurt you from out there. They made 20 of them on Wednesday. It's a priority when you play them, but they're so good off the dribble as well. It's hard to just stay home.
Embiid now splash. I mean, both of these teams shooting around 80% more than midway through the first. Mitchell the lob, and Allen the slam.
That's just early. Mitchell unimpeded, really, just having his free run at the rim. You get into the paint like that, I said you freeze your backline defenders because you're not sure if you have to fully commit to him, and that's why Allen has gotten behind now for the lob dunk, and Mobley had one earlier.
Embiid a 3, back iron and off. Tyson the rebound, a rare miss in this game. Philadelphia 10 of 13, the Cavs 8 of 10 from the floor. Mitchell goes to the corner. Mobley looking to take Edgecombe, double comes, Tyson. You know, he almost popped that release a little higher because of the closeout of Barlow.
No.
Maxey, back iron off. Barlow, the offensive rebound, couldn't put it back in. Barlow very active in the early going, and George comes up with a steal. And the finish. Philadelphia has already forced 5 Cleveland turnovers, turned it into 12 points. And another turnover. That's 6 now for the Cavs in this first. Embiid with some space, twisting inside, gets fouled, and Embiid. 6 points already for Embiid. Hey, let's take a look at the national TV schedule. And you talked about it the other night, even on that one attempted putback, where you could see he doesn't have that immediate explosion off the glass to go straight up. But what are you seeing that's allowed him to produce at a higher level over the last few weeks, even without that?
You know what? It always gets back to the same thing. It's an incredible shooting touch as well.
Wow. Speaking of explosion.
Great back cut there by Tyson with the reverse dunk. But Joel Embiid, it's coming together for him. You know, that last part might not be until later, like after the All-Star break, where you see him start to go up in traffic and finish with authority.
Like right there, got to the spot, but didn't quite have the lift, does eventually get the whistle.